I'm Joanna, the Vice Principal of Sands Secondary in Delta. In today's learning, I'm going to hold my students up and let them tell you all about their passions for making a difference in the community and culture at Sands. In a co-collaborative partnership using spirals of inquiry as a framework, they inquired about negative social media experiences, anti-racism, and mental health. The result not only benefits the students of Sands, but has built my students up, and they've found confidence in their voices, and they feel a sense of self-determination and agency in their learning. This began very organically. I was working with a group of action-oriented students, and we had a common curiosity about what was going on for students with social media. They had had their experiences, and as vice principal, I was dealing with the outfall of sexting, bullying, extortion, etc. Together, we embarked on a co-collaborative project to make social media a healthier place for our youth. Jade is going to tell you more.
We wanted to find out more about the students' experience on social media. We did our initial scan and began discussing where to next. Ms. McIntosh started using verbiage such as hunch, scanning, action, checking in, and she realized this was the spiral inquiry. She introduced us to the spiral. We went into the summer and came back a little bit lost onto where to next, and I remember pointing out that we needed to get back into our spiral, making sure that we were actually making change, because the spiral is all about evidence and checking back.
With that, I very quickly put together a crash course in the spirals. I brought in Brooke Moore, Delta's spirals expert, and got them to jigsaw a paper together. Kitty's going to tell you more about what came next.
Yes. So as we were gathering up the results from our survey, we had a hunch that a lot of students were facing issues on social media. We already had a mentorship program in place from the previous years, so we felt that we should build on the foundations of it so it becomes more effective. We decided to peer the grade 8s up with older students like a buddy system so that they always have people to go to when they needed help. This became our focus because we felt that we would be able to have a much more positive impact on their social media actions because we're closer to them in age.
The students wanted to work off something I had experimented with in the previous year, which was to build a social media scenario to walk students through. They had a vision to create a year-long peer-to-peer mentorship program to build trust and relationships with the grade 8s. Manjot's going to walk you through that.
We came up with an action plan to gather all the grade 8s into smaller groups with a peer mentor on a regular basis to present real-life social media scenarios that they may encounter online. Our goal was to try and slow them down so if they do encounter these, they take a more thoughtful approach. We walked them through scenarios such as sexting, body image, bullying, and online beef, like how these happen in real life. During our discussions, we also stopped them frequently to let them discuss and ask questions and come up with options and talk through them.
One of the things that we realized about the spiral is that it doesn't really happen in a progression all the time. You go back and forward, particularly through the learning and taking action phase. Manjot's going to tell you a little bit more about when we got stuck at one point and what we did.
Midway through the year, we got stuck with our action plan, so our facilitator, Ms. McIntosh, introduced us to Dr. Carrie James and Emily Weinstein at Harvard, who research youth and digital citizenship, who agreed to meet with us over Zoom. They shared their ideas, protocols, and their research, which we felt matched perfectly with what we were seeing. This inspired us to move forward as we really liked what we were doing.
So this experience was phenomenal, and the thing that I learned from it is that the first thing that I need to do as I embark on new spirals is to connect my students with experts in the field so that they can learn from them. But while all this exciting stuff was going on, there were some questions that were being raised about some decisions at the school. Rahul's going to tell you more.
Late last year, myself, along with a few of my friends, began questioning our principals about a suspension that was handed out. This suspension made us feel as if it was racially based. So we approached Ms. McIntosh to speak about it. When talking to Ms. McIntosh, we did come to the conclusion that it was not racially based. But we also came to the conclusion that there's an issue in our community and the world.
I really needed to know more about perceptions of racism at Sands, so I kept asking questions.
I believe that it was around January last year when Ms. McIntosh approached me and my friend Rahul Sharma about our opinions on racism within the school. This was basically a follow-up since a month earlier Rahul was the one who talked to Ms. McIntosh about a suspension that was given out to one of the school students. At the time, we suspected that race may have played a factor. Rahul, being the bold guy he is, talked to Ms. McIntosh about it and they got things sorted out. Later, Ms. McIntosh reflected on the matter and called Rahul in to chat to hear experiences. This is where I was roped in. Once I got to the meeting, me and Rahul had progressive talks with Ms. McIntosh, shared our experiences, and voiced our frustrations.
As a group, we dug into this really complex, sensitive topic. It was really hard and I felt really out of my depth, but I really knew that it was super important. During the spring and summer, there were transformational world events. When we got back in September, we knew even more than ever how important this inquiry was.
With our scan phase, we learned much about the presence of racism in our school community. Many instances of the students' experience with racism were described. The worst part of these instances of racism were that they were many times brushed off as jokes. They used these jokes as an excuse to express their racist beliefs. This creates a culture of normalized racism, slowing down our process of progression.
After taking some time to look through survey results, we found a common theme of students lacking knowledge and understanding of what racism is. Students know racism is bad and that we aren't supposed to be racist. They lack the knowledge of knowing what makes something racist and why it hurts so much. That is when we realized our action plan. We needed to teach kids about racism and allow conversation where they felt heard and not judged. We realized if we wanted students to feel comfortable to say what was on their minds, we needed to be the ones to teach them. That's when we decided to make a presentation for students taught by students. To give students skills such as active witnessing to help reduce the amount of racism in our community at SANS.
So now what? Where to next? We don't know how to do this. So that's when I reached out to my network to find experts. We worked with Satnam Chahal to find out about Delta's anti-racism website and how we could use it. We've just finished a series of workshops with anti-racism educator Angela Ma Brown, where students learned about power dynamics, privileges, calling in, calling out, and active witnessing. This Friday, we are also Zooming with our MLA Minister Ravi Kellen, who's been highly involved in anti-racism work. I'm so excited to see where they go next as they develop their action plan. I'm so proud of them. They're going to close today off by telling you about how the spirals, decision-making moves, and all these experiences have helped them in their own learning, their lives, finding their voice, developing agency, and giving them hope.
What I've gotten out of my experience of using the spiral is that I learned that even when you think you're done inquiring about something, you can always learn more. The spirals is something that is continuous and never ending. Through working on my project with Ms. McIntosh and continuously using the spiral of inquiry on a day-to-day basis, I've learned that it is one of the most effective methods of learning and developing. I do not think that our project would have been as effective as it has been if we are not utilizing the spirals.
The spiral of inquiry is perfect for every decision that comes my way. When tackling a problem, I will scan my options, develop a hunch, and then do research necessary to make an action plan. The spiral of inquiry goes hand in hand with the decision-making framework. Once I have determined possible action plans, I can use the decision-making framework to make an informed decision. I can examine my values, look at my options, and move forward. It helps me a lot as an indecisive person.
What I would recommend for other students that want to make a difference in their school is that they should not be afraid. It never hurts to try something new. Yes, it may seem terrifying at first because it starts off as an idea and everything else is uncertain, but all the great things that happen start off as an idea.
Something that being a part of this has taught me and is valuable is how to overcome challenging situations when things might not necessarily be going your way, that you can rework a plan to make it seem and fit better with your life.
The best thing you can do if you want to make a difference in your school is use your voice. Your voice is more powerful than you ever thought it could be. Use your voice to express your opinions and use it to be an advocate. By putting yourself out there, you are making a tremendous difference.
When talking to Ms. McIntosh, she comforted us, she kind of took us in, and she was open to talking about it, open to making a change. She's the one who helped us build a team. She has put us around all the resources we needed, and she's been pushing us forward. It felt great to have someone pushing us forward, having our back, making sure we follow through with what we believe in.
Making a change can be a grueling process. It is not an easy path to take. You will be met with challenges at every turn, some of which are going to knock you down to the lowest of lows. Hope and determinations are the only things that will pull you out of the depths of failure. You must never lose this hope, for we must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. Those were the words of Martin Luther King Jr.
I'm learning a lot of things. I'm learning that one person can truly make a difference. It was just 3 of us who started it, and now we're slowly getting bigger, making a bigger difference. Yeah, the power Ms. McIntosh has given us is the ability to be more widespread. The change one person can make is only so big, but together we can make a way bigger difference.